Hi everyone, this video is to welcome you to English 300 and cover some of the basic policies on the syllabus. So first off, welcome to the class. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Way. I will be your instructor for the course over the next 8 weeks. And this is my first year teaching at Washburn. I have been teaching for the past 10 years at other places, including most recently Arizona State. So I want to go through the syllabus, kind of talk a little bit about the course. There'll be other videos to introduce you to each assignment and unit, but this is more kind of an overview. So I'm not going to cover every single thing in the syllabus. That is part of your introductory assignment to look through the syllabus and complete the syllabus quiz early on in the course. So, but I want to cover the big things. So first off, feel free to just call me Dr. Way if you want to get in touch with me via email. The best way to get a hold of me by far is by email, jeff.way@washburn.edu, and I will check that regularly during the week. Usually, if you email me during the week, I'll try to get back to you within 24 hours, 48 at the absolute latest. So if you email me during the week and don't hear back from me, please send me an email, and I will make sure to respond. Just kind of a quick follow-up. So you can call the phone number. It is my office phone on campus. But I'm not there every day this semester, and so I won't be checking it as regularly. So my office hours are I'm pretty available by appointment, so I know you all have busy schedules and I want to be available. You are required throughout the course once to meet with me for a conference, preferably a video conference through Zoom. But I am, glad to meet with you more than once. If you have questions about any individual assignment, if you'd like to talk about a draft, I'm glad to set up a time online to meet with you. Instead of scheduling kind of posted office hours, given your schedules, just send me an email if you'd like to set up a time, and I'll get back to you, and we'll figure out something that works. So, but my goal is to be available to help you out whenever you need it. So please, if you feel like you're struggling, you have questions that are too big for an email, set up a time to meet with me and we'll talk. So, so this is English 300 is advanced composition. So it is a course designed to really get you into argumentation and research writing and thinking about writing within your own field. So the assignments are geared towards those end goals. Now the prereqs, obviously you should have taken 101 or 102 and have or equivalent and had a C or better or gotten the credit. So if you haven't, or you have any questions, make sure you double check and let me know. So on that first page of the syllabus, you can see the course outcomes. I don't want to spend time here going over them in detail, but this is a list of the things the skills and concepts that you're going to be working on in each of these assignments you complete throughout the class. So there is one required textbook, and that is Everything's an Argument, 7th edition. And this is it right here. That's fine. So it's green. It's got a big 7 on it. This is the brief edition too. You notice it's a smaller edition. There is a larger edition with readings. It costs a little bit more. And the page numbers, I believe, are the same. There's just a bunch of extra readings in back. So, if you want to get that one or you get it by mistake, it's not a big deal. But the brief edition is the one I recommend because it's a little bit cheaper. So other than that, there will be a lot of online articles and videos that are available through D2L. The book is the only thing you need to purchase. The two other things, well, I guess 3 things you'll need to have for the course, the programs, is you'll need access to Microsoft Word 2013, and you can get that through Washburn for free using Microsoft Office 365. You also need to have access to D2L. You can get there through my Washburn or just use the URL to go directly to d2l.washburn.edu. And you do need to have, well, hopefully you'll have, it's not required. As long as you have a microphone, that's fine. But ideally a computer or a device with a webcam for when we conference throughout the course. So other things you'll need to do, check your email daily, especially during the week. I try to post announcements to D2L at least once or twice a week, if not more, just kind of depending on the schedule. But also, if I need to get in touch with you individually, I will email you through your Washburn email. So make sure that you're checking that on a regular basis. You need, obviously, access to a computer with an internet internet connection for this course, so you can get online and complete all the assignments. And then I always recommend access to a college level dictionary at Thesaurus. You could just use dictionary.com, thesaurus.com, but they're great tools, to make sure you know what a word is when you're using it in a paper, or if you feel like you're using the same word 27 times, thesaurus.com can give you a lot of synonyms there that will help vary your word choice and everything. So there's a breakdown there of the course methodology that's basically just kind of covering what different things, different activities, and the like we'll be doing in the course. So I do want to talk a little bit about the point breakdown and the grading for the class now. So it's on page 2 and the top of page 3 on the syllabus. So the course is broken down into 500 points, and you can see there on that chart on the bottom of page 2, there's also kind of a percentage breakdown. So there are a couple of assignments early on that are about class participation, the icebreaker, the syllabus quiz, things like that. There will be several learning activities. These are kind of the more minor assignments you'll be working on in each unit that cover concepts, things like that. And then there are 3 major writing projects, and the first one is the rhetorical analysis paper, which is going to be the focus of Unit 1, and that's the first 2 weeks of the course. The second assignment is the community-based argument paper, which is Unit 2, and that'll be the second 2 weeks of the course. And each of those assignments is worth 100 points, or 20% of your overall course grade. And then in the second half of the course, you will be focusing on your more intensive research paper and final portfolio. So there will actually be, you'll be completing your research paper over weeks 5 through 7. And the research paper is graded as part of the final portfolio, and there'll be a more specific point breakdown when we get to that point in the semester or in the course. But the final portfolio with the research paper and the other elements that are required is 30% of your course grade, and that's 150 points. And that is, the portfolio requirement is something that is standard in all English 300 courses at Washburn. So the other parts of your grade, there will be 4 different peer review activities throughout the course. So 1 each for Unit 1 and Unit 2, and then 2 for the research essay in Unit 3. And that's 10% of your grade, 50 points overall. And then there's a reflection element for a couple of the units, and that's 3% of your grade, or 12.5 points. But that's the overall point breakdown. You should be able, as I grade things throughout the course, you will see your points available on D2L. If you notice anything that's weird or doesn't match up with, let's say I gave you a grade on a paper and that grade isn't reflected in the grade center on D2L, please let me know. That might have just been a mistake, but I may not always catch that. So now in the course, I grade things on a plus-minus scale. Now Washburn assigns overall course grades on just the whole letter grade. So even though I'll grade everything in the class on the plus-minus scale, the actual course grades will just be A, B, C, D, and F with a pretty standard point breakdown. So next up in the syllabus is the content overview and outline. So it's really kind of giving you a sense about the schedule and the different units and assignments you'll be working on. So I'm not going to cover all of that now, and I'll talk about the schedule a little bit more with each of the units when I introduce the assignment in different videos. Technology requirement, you should be familiar with D2L, know how to use it. If you don't, there are a lot of resources available through a lot of those links, but that is pretty important since you will be submitting and completing and accessing everything in the course through D2L. So make sure you're comfortable with the platform. You also, as it says there, Zoom is the program we use for online conferences, and so that link is standard, or you can use that link to always contact me when we have a meeting. The system requirements are there. You can, I believe, download an app on your computer if you want, or I think you can also just click the link and it will automatically connect you to the Zoom session. So as it says there, webcam and/or microphone is required, recommended to participate in virtual class sessions. It's always more helpful if we can actually see each other and talk to one another. So minimum technical skills, kind of going back, you need to be able to use D2L, access and use your Washburn email, and then be able to use and submit files throughout the course using Microsoft Word. So there are a lot of different things that ITS can help you with generally. So if you're having password trouble accessing My Washburn, accessing Office 365, anything like that, contact them at support@washburn.edu, and they'll be able to help you out on that side of things. And then I believe you can also call. There's also online education support for D2L and things like that. So a lot of this information is there in the syllabus for you if you need it. Hopefully you won't, but in case you do, it'll be available. Now, student expectations of the instructor. So what can you expect from me? Like I said, I'm going to be available via email as often as possible. If I know in any instance that I might have to be away a little bit longer, or I won't be able to get back to you within 24 hours, I'll be sure to put an announcement on D2L and let you know and get back to you as soon as I can. But I'm available via Zoom. We can use Skype if you need to, but really I want to be as available as I can if you need help throughout the class. So feel free to contact me to get in touch, to set up a conference. I'm glad to help out however I can. So as it says there, during the week, I will try to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. On the weekends, it may be a little bit longer. It kind of depends on life and what I'm doing. Now, if it's a holiday or something like that too, but I don't think that affects us in this class for the most part. So, and everything should be up and available when you need to access it on D2L. If at any point in the course you realize something should be available and you can't find it or you can't access it, please let me know, and I'll make sure to get that taken care of right away. So, I will be, given the pace of this course, I'll be grading everything, hopefully as soon as I get it. But you'll have your grades back within 7 days. I'll obviously try to get them to you quicker, given the fast-natured pace of this class. So if at any point you aren't getting it back fast enough, or you need to know for a grade check or anything like that, I'm always glad to kind of let you know. So otherwise, the only other thing there is if there happens to be a change to the schedule and the syllabus at all, which I don't anticipate, but very rarely does happen, I will let you know. I'll probably send out an email, post an announcement to D2L, kind of let you know a lot of different ways that a change has been made. So now, for you, the expectations of you for the course. So this is an online course, and your attendance and participation is obviously crucial to you succeeding and getting through the class. So there will be a couple of things with the schedule you'll want to pay attention to depending on what week and where we're at for each paper. If it's just kind of standard assignments, I believe those are for the most part due at the end of each week. I believe Sunday is the deadline I have set up for them. Now, there will be a couple of things where process work for some of the papers, such as when you submit a topic paragraph or a draft of your paper for peer reviews. Those will have deadlines throughout the week, and I've tried to build in time, so you'll have an opportunity to get that posted and have time to get feedback on it before moving on to the next step and things like that. So, but you need to make sure that you are participating in the course. So when you have a deadline, that deadline has to be met, especially given how quickly this course is going to go. There is no opportunity really to do otherwise. So absent or presence, really being present is for the most part you being here on course, in the course, doing the work. So if I see you doing the work, if you're staying up on top of things, you're good. If you're missing assignments, then I will get in touch with you about that. If you anticipate something coming up in your life that you might know, it's going to cause me to maybe turn something in a day or two late, get in touch with me as soon as you can, and we can usually work around things a little bit. I can't always guarantee that, just depending on the time in the course, but if you anticipate a deadline being a problem, or as I'll talk about a little bit more with late work, if you feel like a deadline for one of the major writing projects is going to be a little bit difficult for you to meet, feel free to get in touch with me and we'll figure something out. So, but you should be otherwise checking your email, your D2L email, and your Washburn email regularly. You should be getting on D2L several times throughout the week to be working on the content. So it's also important that you have a backup plan to complete coursework, so in case something just happens to go wrong. So, and course materials, everything on D2L is either mine. Oh, no, that's your course materials. Sorry. So everything you submit for this class needs to be your work, right? That's pretty standard for any English course, especially when it goes online. Your papers need to be your writing, your assignments throughout the course need to be your writing. If they're not, they will be penalized accordingly. So now late assignments, usually with minor assignments, they need to be done on time by those deadlines. So when you have kind of a reading response or a video response throughout the week, that needs to be done by the assigned deadlines. If you, as I said, if you anticipate some big thing coming up that you need help with, maybe you need a day or two, get in touch with me. We'll see what we can do. If you do feel that you're not going to be able to meet a deadline for one of the major writing projects, you can, and I do allow the option of getting an extension. But to do that, you need to be aware of your own schedule and realize a couple of days ahead of time, at least, that your things are just crazy and you won't be able to get it done by the deadline. So I ask that if you want to submit a request for an extension, you need to do so at least 72 hours before the paper is due. So at least 3 days before the paper is due. And just note there that you have to tell me why, kind of give me your updated schedule. Now, requesting an extension doesn't always guarantee you one based on the situation. So be aware of that. If you don't get an extension or you don't ask for an extension and turn one of the major writing projects in late, it will be penalized 1 letter grade for every calendar day that it's late. So if it's due, and I believe most of the first 2 are due, let's say on Sunday, if I don't get it till Tuesday, that is already 20 points off your paper before I even start to grade it. So, so if you anticipate a problem, please let me know. It's important, and just basically general criteria says that you need to read over everything, make sure you're fulfilling the guidelines for each assignment, and you should know because I'll be grading those and you'll get points and feedback on them. So academic dishonesty goes back to just you and your work in the course. Everything that you do in this course should be for this course. It should be original work. It shouldn't be something you've done for a similar class in the past. If it's plagiarism, you can fail the assignment and you can even fail the course in egregious cases. So don't do that. All right. We will use APA in this course. So that also means when you're working on your major writing projects and you cite your outside sources, they all need to be cited both in your references page and have all in-text citations. So if you are taking work, ideas, words from other sources and not citing them, that counts as plagiarism. And again, is something that will be penalized accordingly. So online discussion protocol, we'll have a couple discussions and you'll be doing a couple, like I said, a couple peer review activities. So for me, the same rules go that would go in my class. This is a space where everybody's coming to learn. So you can expect that you should treat everybody with respect. And really the main rule is don't be a jerk. So, but you should, make sure when you have assignments due, when we have peer reviews and your classmates will be waiting on you to submit your drafts on time, making sure that you meet those deadlines is important. You need to make sure when things are expected of you in discussion boards by a certain time that you're doing that. You should be, fully engaged when we do discussion boards and assignments, so it shouldn't just be kind of short responses. So, I'm looking for you to really participate actively in those assignments, use proper netiquette, respect your classmates. So you don't have to agree with everything everybody says in a paper, but you can respect it and be helpful in terms of giving them feedback or participating in the conversation and things like that. So a couple of other things I mentioned, you will be required at least once, I think, in the course. I don't know. I mentioned it now. To meet with me one-on-one, you are more than welcome to do it more than once, but you are required to do it once for one of the major writing projects. That can be any of the 3 major writing projects and at any point in the process. So even if you open up the assignment sheet and you said, I have no idea what this is talking about, and you want to set up a time to meet with me, we can talk about it and kind of go through the assignment. So the learning activities are those responses, short exercises, things like that. Those need to be done and completed within the deadlines that are given. In terms of the writing projects, so there are the 3 of them: the rhetorical analysis, the community-based argument, and the research paper and final portfolio that you turn in the last part of the course. These all need to be formatted correctly. and the assignment sheets will go over that format, but basically 12-point times New Roman font, double-spaced, 1-inch margins, follow all APA guidelines, be submitted as a Microsoft Word 2013 formatted document. And so if we can't, it's important that you do that too, especially so everybody's able to access your papers for peer reviews. So if you post a file that is not accessible by me or your classmates, that's going to count the same as it not being submitted in the first place, so you won't get the points and you'll lose out on the peer review activity points as well. So make sure that you're formatting those and submitting your papers in files that will be acceptable. Just one other note, you are required for all three, or to submit all three major writing projects to the class. So that means by the end of the semester, you will have submitted the rhetorical analysis, the community-based argument, and the research paper and final portfolio. If you never submit one of the three papers, no matter the grades you got on the rest of the course, you will not pass the class. So let's say you never turn in your first paper, the rhetorical analysis, but you get A's on everything else, it doesn't matter. You automatically fail the course because submitting the rhetorical analysis was one of the requirements for passing the class. So be aware of that. Just stay on top of those deadlines. So I do ask that when you submit your papers to Dropbox that you use the formatting listed there, last name, first initial, course assignment, for the most part. So in terms of peer reviews, the directions, there'll be more specific directions when we get to each peer review activity, but as I said, you are required to have your draft posted by the initial deadline to give your classmates enough time to complete the activity and respond. And then, so you also need to do the same, include the peer review activity by that deadline. And so I believe it's a 4-day process for the most part. So you'll submit your first draft of a paper. In 2 days, you'll get feedback from peer reviews and submit your feedback on the peer review activity. And you'll have another couple of days to use that feedback in revising your paper before you submit the final draft. So there are a couple elements. So like I said, we do a couple of things about reflection. One is the two things up front of the syllabus quiz, and then just personal writing history from you doing the first week. And then after Unit 1 and Unit 2, I ask for just a short reflection from you on the work you've accomplished in those units, especially because we're going to go through those so fast. And then other than that, there will also be, I think, just kind of an anonymous midterm feedback, just an opportunity to provide any feedback in the class on anything you're having, anything you want to say, basically. So, and then the final portfolio, I already mentioned this, but it is worth 30% of your overall grade. It's graded holistically. In other words, I'm grading the entire portfolio. There is an emphasis on the research essay component of it, but there are other components. You'll be revising one of your first 2 papers, including a cover letter. So all those things will be graded together. So email expectations, I've already covered that. Make sure you're checking your email regularly. And then there's a link here to the course policies in addition to the syllabus from Washburn. If you've taken a class at Washburn in the past, you're familiar with those. I believe there's a link also on that to D2L. So it's kind of the breakdown of the syllabus. So take an opportunity, early on this first week to look through D2L, make sure you can find all the things you need to. It looks pretty accessible. If you have questions, please feel free to send me an email. If you'd like to set up an early conference just to chat, or you have questions about stuff, I'm glad to do that. And I look forward, really am interested in looking forward to see what you all come up with for the course and your writing projects and throughout each of the assignments. So if at any point you're having trouble, just get in touch. And otherwise, be on the lookout for the other videos I'm going to have available for you, introducing each of the assignments and units. So thanks, and I look forward to seeing your work in the course.